What's going on, good people? Welcome to the Echo Chamber. Today I'm talking with a few guys that I've met here and there, running about the qualities of friendship. But before we get into it, I just want to shout out Cooley and his new music video, Gisan. Please go check it out. All the proceeds of the songs goes directly to Casa Aid, which is a charity that deals in crisis management. So please go support, like, share, do that. Good stuff. All right. Getting into this, the qualities of friendship. What's it like? I don't even know why I came up with this like title of it, but I guess I just wanted to have a conversation about what kind of constitutes a friendship. Like maybe explore the idea a little bit. If anyone wants to jump in, take the mic.
Well, it, I'll go. Just from my side, I just find it's very subjective. It's sort of it depends what your ideals, what your values are grounded in to define what constitutes a friendship, and that could mean a million and one things. Probably different to everyone, all of us. What a friendship is we all have a different definition of it. So it's a tricky one. I don't know if anyone else thinks.
No, I totally agree. Like to say what defines a friend is like it's difficult to say. It's like everyone's going to be having their own opinion. Like for me personally, I like to have someone that I can confide in and have a regular chat, enjoy life with. That's why I truly like things that we value. Everyone values things differently in life. I don't know about you guys. What about you?
Yeah. Sorry, do you want to go first?
No. Go ahead, Reese. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're going to come to a similar kind of view here, which is it pertains to your values in terms of qualities of friendship. But with any kind of relationship, however intimate or however casual, there's kind of set intangibles that underlie it that I don't think any person could ever define. And I feel like that's really what dictates a friendship, and a good quality one as well is something that I guess you could call it chemistry, or just being able to feel comfortable.
Yeah. Totally. I feel
I
like
don't think
chemistry is a
anyone,
big thing.
that I don't think anyone can really properly define.
Yeah, and to throw in a real sort of tricky one as well, you could even go to make it a bit deeper. You could look at it from a worldly perspective of what a friendship is, and from a spiritual perspective, what a friendship is, which is going to be totally different. And that will mess up someone's mind of trying to figure that out. Like we're all on a call right now, we're having a worldly chat. Well, I've only just met most of you guys, but we're friends now, right? So this is a worldly friendship right now, but in the bigger picture, if you look at spirituality, is our friendship, is there any meaning to the relationship that we've got right here on this call? What kind of friendship realm are we actually looking at? It's another sort of way of looking at it.
Yeah, so that was actually a point that I was going to be talking about later on in the conversation as it progressed, which is how the physical and the metaphysical sides of human interaction, and then by relation, the friendship aspect of it all, kind of how that kind of pertains. Like for me, it's kind of like what kind of energies you allow into your circle. And I feel like the kind of energy that someone brings into your life definitely does really have an impact on you as a person and your life experiences. And I feel as though we are very, very exposed to loads of different elements and loads of different people through like social media and the way in which we kind of now engage in relationships and friendships, where it's a lot harder to kind of control that. For example, like I guess back in the day, when you would have your friends that you went to school with, friends that you went to university with, the friends that you work with, and then the ones that stick about are the ones that you kind of gel with, right? Whereas now
Yeah.
you can have friends with people you play games with. You can have friends with people across the world that you probably never would have come across.
Oh yeah, totally. I've met a lot of people online, which is crazy because I've been a gamer since like day dot. So being online was like, oh yeah, I've always been off. Like it's always been my voice online, so people have always met me through that, and it's the games you play and how I talk and interact. Most of the time, it will be always jokes, always making jokes, having fun. It'll always be chill vibes, and I feel like that's what of the kind of people I like to invite to my in my circle. You know, like when you say the metaphysical parts, it's like your vibe attracts your tribe. You know.
For real, man. Like I feel like there's always a certain energy that if it's brought into my perspective, something kind of just clicks in my head. I'm like, yeah, we'll be friends. And it's like I have acquaintances and people that I know, and then I have friends.
Yeah, because sometimes you can know you're like, yeah, I don't like this person very much. This energy is not what I like, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know, like it's kind of like I feel like a lot of the time I witnessed a lot of drama at university and like school and stuff. I was in a lot of drama at school, but at university I wasn't in any. And witnessing it, it was kind of like you guys are all toxic, right? Like when you're watching something like unfold, it's kind of like you guys are the exact same as each other. And that's the issue here.
Mm-mm.
You guys are toxic and your toxicity is now clashing with each other. And I don't know, I felt like does that make you guys perfect for each other? Like, should you guys be then left to your own devices, or then should you then be affecting other people with your toxicity? But then that is a very egotistical judgment on my behalf, and I'll
Uh,
own that. I'll own that.
Honestly, I don't feel like you should be involved with toxicity. Like, I don't feel like you should ever invite negative energy to your circle. It's like there's no need for it at all.
I think that's like that's kind of you can't predict toxicity in entering your life. Sometimes it'll be like, you know, you'll try and avoid it, and without you realizing, it can be coming in through your life through another direction, or like, you know, you'll give it a blind eye because of the person it's coming from. Like a long time friend who's been your friend for like 10 plus years might have toxic traits, but then you'll kind of like give it a blind eye, or you'll like you'll say, oh, that's just the way they are, and kind
Yeah,
of give it
and
that,
brush it off. Yeah,
brush it
I
off,
hear what
yeah.
you're saying.
So I think kind of, you know, trying to identify it and you know, in such a kind of criteria checklist kind of way sometimes can be quite difficult.
No, honestly, I get what you're saying. It's like trying to scout out like what could this person's actual problem be, and telling them like at that point, do you feel like it is your point, like it is your responsibility to tell them that their toxic trait is toxic and call them out as a friend?
I mean, 100%, but like it's tricky. Like again, it's tricky because you have that kind of you have that risk of losing that person from your life, and it because either one, you come to the realization yourself that this person's never changed, never gonna change, and them continuing being in your life is only gonna kind of obstruct you from progressing yourself. Or the vice versa will be like they'll look at you as too judgmental for them to have you in their life. So
Oh yeah.
so they'll be like, oh, I don't need these kind of people judging me around me. So they'll look at you and be like, I'll either we'll have an arm's length relationship, or we just won't have one at all. So like that's the kind of risk you run when you do kind of confront them with the kind of judgment of their behavior being toxic. And so it's not as straightforward as kind of just pointing them out and then them improving on it, because I feel like a lot of the times when someone is in like kind of a toxic state of mind and their behavior traits are projecting those state of mind, and that state of mind is like they're usually not aware of it, and they usually think it's all right, and they think, oh yeah, that's fine. I was actually having this conversation with Adesopi the other day. He was saying that
This is my brother, just for
oh yeah, Ades is Opi's younger brother. I said to him that sometimes, like, because one of my earlier relationships, like, it was very toxic, but like at the same time, it was a little bit fun as well. I can't lie. And the reason is because that you know.
Oh, I wonder what he's referring to there.
No, I'm not. I'm not referring to.
Yo, you gotta fill us in on a story. You can't just leave us out there.
I'll go into too much detail, but like, you know, at times our relationship had to be a secret, which is toxic, because when you're hiding something, there's always like, do you know what I'm saying? There's always kind of some shady things to it. So we had to hide it, and like that is one. And for me at the time, I just thought like I was justifying it in my head as like, you know, don't air your relationship, so no one needs to know your business and stuff. But really, there's a fine line between being private and then hiding things from people, and I think that was we was kind of on the hiding it things. So that was definitely kind of one of the main kind of traits of it. That was, and there was just like the classic toxic relationship traits, like the constant arguing, and then like the power plays of not chatting to each other for a few days and playing the game of chicken of who's gonna call who first, like, you know, all them stuff's in it.
Wow. That sounds like I'm not gonna lie, now that sounds like a headache. I couldn't deal with that.
I can't lie to you, bro, but like it was at the time, in it, and like obviously as humans we do have the habit of romanticizing the past, but like when I do look at it objectively, like I was 21 at the time, and it was like, you know,
and you're doing that shit, nah, man.
Like in the grand scheme of life, that is a baby. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but even still, that's annoying. I have patience with people. I've got good patience, but like when it comes to like small stuff like that, I can't deal. I won't even lie.
I hear you, bro. I hear you, but like it was an ego thing on both sides of the argument. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad I went through that, because it was like
It's a lesson. Yeah.
It's a learning curve, of course, and
every relationship's.
I just learned, like, obviously there's things where I'll be like, did I really need to go through that, or did I really need to experience that? But,
yeah, like how long was that pain really needed? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I should have ripped off the band-aid time ago.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's just good to learn from it, and it helped me apply a lot of the stuff that I learned just from that one experience to like the rest of my relationships in my life, whether that was family, work, friends. Like, I think kind of, you know, I think going through life trying to like bob and weave toxic situations, it's kind of like I don't know if this is a word, but like a hyper ideal of looking at things. I think you kind of sometimes you might have to go through that in order to kind of really learn to kind of identify it in the first place.
Yeah, but at a certain point, enough is enough, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah,
you run into the same wall.
Yeah,
but don't you guys think you kind of need that though? Because like if I look at my own friendship circle, I would get bored if we all have the same opinion, we all think the same way, we all agree on the same stuff, like, you know, because then it's just like a group of yeah, you're right, yeah, man, yeah. And it's
you're
like,
not wrong.
you know, like I kind of enjoy that, even though I've got friends where, so I know Beer's just full on into like the socialism, right? So I've got friends that I go way back and we grew up together, but they're capitalist to the fullest, but they're still my friends, because on certain aspects in life, I know they'll walk with me when I need them, right? But we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that's cool. Like, you know, that doesn't mean that those friends are toxic and I can't have them in my life because, like, yo, man, like, you know, you're not part of my economic revolution. Get out. But that's cool. They're riding with me on a different level. But you know, it's so I don't think, like, I think they go hand in hand. Like, you need happiness and sadness with your friends. It comes hand in hand. Like, I feel like a lot of this, and tell me if I'm wrong or if you don't agree, but I feel like a lot of this also is social media driven. When you like listen to stuff, like I saw something on Instagram actually recently, probably this morning when I was going through my newsfeed. Oh, I can tell you your future if you show me your friends, and all of this sort of talk of like how successful you're gonna be if tell me your 5 friends and I can tell you your future. Like this whole culture of like, yeah, man, if I've got 5 business friends, I'm gonna be the next. I'm gonna be the next
insane.
Tesla.
Is that how it works?
Do you wake up every morning to an alarm that says rise and grind? Does it say that? No, you're not gonna make it, bro. Nah, I agree with that side. But I think also a side note, when the global revolution does happen, some of the capitalists get a little bit of a pass because they can be. So Reese, you're good. I'm joking. You're not good. I'm joking.
Wow.
Nah, but I think that is a very fair point, that there is conflict within relationships, and there is it's also kind of like how, you know, in relationships opposites attract. I think that's very similar for friendships as well. Like you'll have friends who are you'll have people who are really, really quiet, who are then really close and really friendly with people who are really outgoing, you know, the center of attention type deal. Not in like a narcissistic way, but like kind of like they don't have issues being in social situations or creating social situations. And I think there is I think I do agree that there is no need to create a sort of like, for want of a better word, an echo chamber to 100%. But I mean, like where everyone just kind of always agrees with each other.
It's just a yes man group.
Yeah, because you're not gonna grow, right?
No one grows.
You're gonna carry on making, and that, I think
it's literally a circle jerk.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what that post was trying to say, but in a shithead way, really. But that's probably what that post was trying to say, or can be read like that, is that if you're around people who are exactly like you, or no, maybe not even that, but if you're around people who don't challenge you, you're never gonna move past certain things.
Yeah, you'll never grow.
Maybe.
I think there's a truth to that Instagram comment. It's just the way that Instagram post, it's just the way that it was worded. It was just like, it just stunk of cheese and cringe in it.
It came from Instagram. That's probably why.
It's a billionaire mindset.
Yeah.
It's mindset, bro.
It's just like,
are you starving? Just mindset, bro.
Like there's loads of people who probably got piece of shit friends, but they're a decent human being, but they just like, you know, life is not that kind of, you know, jigsaw puzzle kind of thing where just everything just fits so harmoniously. So I don't, like, to one extent I see what he's saying, because, you know, the opinions of the people around you can influence you, but then, you know, there are so many people, like, for example, the majority of my friends from school who I'm still in contact with to this day, and you know, still see pretty regularly and stuff. Obviously before lockdown, and that is that like they're all like heavily into smoking weed and stuff, and I've got nothing against that and whatsoever. I just know that like it's not for me.
It's not your path.
Yeah, it's not my thing, in it. So, but like, you know, there's never been like an influence of them for me to do it. So it's like, you know, just because all them people around me do that does not directly lead to me doing it either. So it's like, you know, I think them kind of things can be oversimplified.
I think that's also like, your friends haven't got big egos in that sense. Like I feel like whenever people have peer pressured other people to do something, it's always to satisfy some feeling within themselves to say, yeah, I'm the one that made you do that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I feel like that would be something that I personally could not fuck with someone like that. Right? You know, it's like we back at university, we had friends in our group that didn't drink. We had friends in our group that did drink, but never did those friends who didn't drink ever feel pressured to drink, right? Or engage in the foolishness. They still engage in the foolishness. They just did it sober, which
So,
makes it
yeah.
which makes it way worse. But
They knew what they was
we
doing, yeah.
we got an excuse. They don't. Nah, but yeah, I think there is definitely there's definitely an issue with like the competitors. You know, I feel like that's a good way to call them, like good label to give people like that, is that they gotta constantly, by building themselves up, they're simultaneously cutting you down, right? Instead of both rising at the same time, right? They feel the need to, and I feel like that's not really friendship. That's just a bully you like hanging out with, right?
It's a one-sided relationship, effectively.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
It's just people are just being
it's
selfish.
Yeah,
taken, and people like relationships are give and take, and that's just taken, and it's just like them feeding off your insecurity to make them feel better about themselves, to feed their insecurity.
yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it is. I'd have to think about that, to be fair. Yeah, no. I wanted to move on to the point of the aspect of time, right? Like, is there a minimum amount of time that you need to be able to determine is someone going to be friends with you, or can somebody just click
Case
and
by
that's
case.
Reese, what do you think then? Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, it's like asking how long's a piece of string. I think, again, I lean back on that intangible nature that defines relationships.
Mm.
I feel like certain people you connect with faster. Sometimes it can take forever before you go. Sometimes that's due to the fact you might have a wrong impression or a different impression of somebody. I think overall it just can't be defined. It's very contingent on the person you're dealing with and how you are as a person as well. I know some people that have known other people, mutual friends of mine for years, but they wouldn't call them friends yet because some people do have set defined rules. So I think a lot of people will probably give different answers, maybe even people in the same friendship as to when they were friends.
Yeah, no, I think I would agree with that to an extent. I think for me though, I think there's like a time limit in the sense that if you and me aren't friends by a certain point, we're never gonna be friends, right?
Do you think so?
I feel like that. I feel like a lot of like everyone here, for example, everyone here, I had a conversation with them and that was it. They're now mates, they're friends. They're people that I'll have conversations with. Exactly. The foundation didn't even need to be put there in the first place. It's almost as if it came there automatically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like pre-ordering a game or whatever. I don't know. That's a dumb analogy. I'll try and figure out an analogy for it later.
Just to clarify, are you saying that like someone's friends and then they fall out and they're not friends after that, after a certain amount of time, then there's no hope? Or are you saying that if you meet someone and you're both like clashing and you don't see,
It's not even that. It's like, let's say if I meet someone and
be friends after?
I'm not, it doesn't even need to be clashes. It can just literally just be if the conversation's dry, if there's just
like there's nothing there.
There's no substance to there's no need to be in that space with you.
So,
like it's not
the former or the latter. Like, are you saying? Like,
I'm saying the latter.
Oh, okay.
It's not about butting heads with people. It's literally just about the vibe. If the vibe isn't there, then we're not gonna be mates. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not you're a bad person. It's just we're not meant to be mates.
Yeah, like
you just don't click.
You know,
exactly.
Yeah, you're not gonna click well with everyone that you.
Not everyone's gonna be your friend. Period.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are people out there who kind of take
Hate
that very
that.
personally.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's always weirded me out, right? I don't know.
I think it's just like a going back to like, insecurity. Like people just think that, it's a kind of personal attack, isn't it? Like you don't like me, therefore you think bad of me, and not even you don't like me, you just think that we can't be friends. Because
We're not friends, therefore you don't like me. Therefore, there's something
exactly.
wrong with me.
Yeah,
What is wrong with me?
And that's an insecurity, isn't it?
Why don't you like me? That's scary.
But yeah, that is scary because people can go to like that's how stalkers are formed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's a stalker's origin story.
Well, I weren't mates with you, all right.
Yeah.
I want to be mates with you, all right.
No, go away.
Nah, I feel like I have made more mates from that one conversation than I haven't. Like, I've never really had to work at becoming friends with someone. I say all of you guys are giving me that same vibe.
If you had to
Yeah.
work to be friends with someone, they're not really your friends.
Yeah, I wouldn't define it as
Point
work.
period.
Exactly.
Define work. Like,
As in, like, let's say if it's not initially, if the vibe isn't initially there, I don't know. Like, I don't like. Again, it's a very subjective thing, in it. I'm assuming not everyone makes friends the way I do, right?
I don't,
Yeah.
because one of my very, very, like, very, very, very good friends, like, throughout uni, like, we went both college and uni together. Like, in college, like, we didn't, like, we were in the same classes, like, for most of our classes, we were, like, in the same space, and like, it was just constant butting heads. And I can't remember, when was it? It was like, we went on, like, we went on, like, an abroad trip, like, with our college,
Mm.
and it was just there, like, we just, something happened, we just started getting along, and we was basically, like, we was put in a, like, all, like, we had the same mutual group of friends, but we just kept constantly butting heads, and, like, all our mutual friends got put into, like, kind of one space, one group, and then we was in another group. And, like, we didn't really want to be in that other group, and we both just, got along because and it wasn't really a choice thing where we got cornered into it, but it just, the more time we spent together, more we realized that we had more in common than we had differences. And I think from then we had, like, a really good understanding and relationship, and, like, you know that that relationship, that friendship that we had, sorry, it was like, that we just understood each other, and there was no kind of, you know, there was no kind of, like, judgment. Like, if I had an issue, I'd go to her and we would speak openly about it, and vice versa. So I think it can be kind of, the way you make friends with people can be kind of like, it can be off the first conversation, or it can be, this person for a long time, and they're in the background, but as soon as a situation comes along where the friendship can grow, it's kind of, it can be a really good friendship. I mean, I've had a few, like, times where I've not liked someone, or they're not liked me, and I don't think it's been like a kind of thing where we're constantly at each other's throats, but it's just a kind of, you give me this vibe and I give them that vibe, and it's kind of like we just don't, our vibes don't kind of just link up, and then, but people change and grow, and then it comes to a point where we both are in that place where things are mutual understanding with each other. So it is like Marcus said earlier, it is a case by case basis.
Yeah, I agree. I had a similar story. A friend who was in, like, a larger friend group of mine when I was way back in year 7. So when I was like 11, 12, we kind of had mutual friends, but whenever I spoke to him, it was just the impression I got was, okay, don't particularly care or have strong feelings about you. That continued on for like 5 years or so. And it wasn't until like sixth form, where the friendship group kind of got a little smaller, I was able to have a few more conversations with him. And we're still very close friends to this day. I mean, we went to secondary school, university. I messaged him just yesterday. So I do very much agree, it's case by case.
Yeah, man. Like, when you got them clashes with them, when you're like, yo, you're just like, this person needs to get caught on the roadside.
I mean, I wanted to kind of segue from that to, personally, I feel as though, very personally, I feel as though friendship is unconditional, right? So, for example, if I don't speak
I
with,
don't agree.
uh,
Sorry.
well, yeah, if you let me speak and then you can disagree and you can rebut it, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, but yeah, no, like, for example, unconditional in the sense that there's not supposed to be expectations put upon that friendship. For example, if I don't speak to you for a year and you catch me on road and then nothing's changed, there's no, oh, we ain't spoken for a year. If you say it, you're just saying, oh, it's been a long time, man, how you doing? that kind of thing, right? I've had a friend who literally quite literally said to us, "Nah, you guys can't joke with me like that anymore because we don't speak like that." And to me, I was like, "Dickhead!" Like that's a two-way thing. If I haven't spoken to you, but then you haven't spoken to me for a year either, so like, who's to blame, right? If I'm now then treating you the same way I treated you a year ago, that's me telling you that nothing's changed for me, and he very clearly let us know that things have changed for him. So then we just don't speak anymore, right? And that's what I meant by unconditional, in the sense that there is no expectation. There's no need to attach things to the friendship that I don't know. I don't necessarily need to attach. So you wanted to disagree, Marcus? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that like there's certain things like friends can do to do you dirty. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
speaking,
I'm not.
I'm
Oh,
not, yeah, I'm not speaking for experience. I'm just saying like I just thought of that. Like, yeah. People could do people dirt,
yeah,
and you gotta burn that bridge. There's times you've just gotta burn bridges.
for sure, for sure. I'm not saying someone that sleeps with your girlfriend, for example, like that. Yeah, fair.
Can I ask you guys a question? Like,
Shoot.
is there any friends that you have that you kind of give the same kind of credence to as, and not any, but like to give the same credence to as a family member?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I have that.
Okay. Sorry, Marcus, did you say that you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so like you're saying that, yeah. So say if those friends or that friend that you have that same credence of a family member, like if they did you dirty, like do you have the same forgiveness as them? Do you have the same forgiveness towards them
As my family member.
as you do a family member?
Yeah, 100%. I have to.
Fair enough. It's just no, because you just brought up the point about like friends doing you dirty. So,
What kind of family member are we talking? Sorry, because is it
Yeah, you can
like
be closer
like-
to some.
how
like
close?
a family member that is like
Like
you
a
know,
sister to me. Yeah, I can,
like
or a
an
brother to me.
immediate circle, yeah. Like
Yeah,
Because if we're saying
family.
cousin, then like cousin friends makes no difference to me. But
Okay.
obviously siblings, parents,
It's a bit different.
It's a bit
for you.
different.
Okay.
I mean, there's that saying, that saying, blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's an iteration of it that it's actually the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which is essentially saying that the family you choose
Yeah.
is held more dear to you than the family you were given.
Blood is thicker than water, but like if you're dying of thirst, which one are you gonna reach for first?
Honestly,
Like
honestly, I like that.
Yeah.
Bars, bars,
I like that one.
bars.
I'm writing that down now.
Just Harvard reference him, yeah. Citations and shit, yeah. Bars.
I get like that sometimes.
No, fairs. I think, yeah, there are definitely, and also Reese, I feel kind of hurt, man. I kind of treat you like a family member, and you're like, nah.
It depends on the family member. I mean, for a cousin once removed, fuck them. I don't even know if I have one of those. But as close as my
Fuck that,
dad
dude.
or my mum, nah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Nah, fairs. So much for that unconditional friendship, yeah. Nah, to be fair though, like I think that you'll always, and that's the thing. This is what I'm saying again. It's like that person that you know that you can rely on, and the whole point of friendship is that it's not even that you know that you can rely on them for whatever reason. You just, I don't know. It's almost as like an instinct that you know that if you fall, they've got you, right? Sorry, who's going to say something?
I was going to say something. Sorry,
Go for
Abdish,
it.
but isn't that sort of contradictory to what you're saying? Because by you saying that friendship has to be unconditional, you're setting a condition here.
I'm saying that that's like a subconscious. It's like a subconscious feeling that you don't necessarily need to expect of them, if that makes sense. It's kind of like you just know that that's what there is, right? From the way your relationship with them has manifested. That's not you putting it on it. You just have faith based on the evidences that have been given through the interactions that you've had with that person. Does that make sense?
But if that person, so the example that you were given earlier,
Mhm.
where you see someone after a year and then they have changed, aren't you then not showing that unconditional friendship now? So you've broken your own expectation in a way. No, does that not make sense? Because surely it shouldn't matter. If you're an unconditional friend to that person, however, it doesn't matter how they react. You should not be fazed by that and be like, well, I'm still your friend, you know, unconditional. I'm gonna stay true to my contract, no problem.
For sure, but it also gets, I guess, yeah. But then it's also, like we said, at that point, it's a one-way thing, and at that point, I'm gonna give my energy to someone where it's kind of more, not reciprocated, but more just feels like it's actually going somewhere.
So
but I guess,
I'm not trying to catch you up, but
No,
what I'm
no,
trying
no,
to
I
say
guess
is,
what you're saying. It's a
it's
condition.
basically then from the get-go, friendship is based. We're entering a contract saying this is the conditions. Essentially, no, but it's
trying to
like
make a
a
sale
contract
here.
almost. No, but as in like, you know,
Yeah.
this is the condition. I'm gonna be. The condition is that I'm unconditional, your friend,
Yeah.
But I
unconditional
think
friend.
at every level, like
Mm.
it's like most, I'd say there's one relationship where this doesn't apply, but most relationships in life are a give and take. Most relationships in life, because that's when they start to break down, where people perceive the relationship to be like, I'm giving more than I'm taking, not in like a counting kind of way, just in kind of just that feeling of I'm being taken for, you know, for lack of a better term, being taken for a dickhead, and like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's it. Kind of
Because the only relationship where that's not really a thing, I feel like, is like either, you know, a long-term romantic relationship, or like a parent to a child, or vice versa. Like, I feel like those are the kind of only 2/3 relationships where kind of, you know, things in life are constant ebbing and flowing, whereas a friendship, or, you know, kind of maybe a brotherhood or a sisterhood, like between cousins or siblings or whatever, can kind of be under that contractual criteria of, if I'm feeling like there's more give from my side and there's less take, then I have to assess the relationship.
yeah. I think there's multiple layers to that. It could also be that in your head you feel as though you're, and don't get twisted. And for sure, there are definitely places, people, and relationships out there where people do give more than they receive, right? But I think also as a society, we kind of focus more on the negative than we do on the positive. Like we focus more on what's not there than what is there. And I think I did a little thought experiment with someone, and I asked him, I mean, let me try it with you guys. Let me just like confirm. Also, Saib, I think I'm gonna have to figure out a new word than unconditional, because yeah, I can see that point. Yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out a new word rather than unconditional to attach to that thought process. But yeah. So going back to the experiment I want to do. When was the last time someone did something good for you guys? I just want to like, do you guys already have something in your head right now?
Yeah.
Right. When was the last time someone did something bad to you? Which one came to your mind quicker?
The good one.
There you go.
No, at the same time, actually.
Same time.
Yeah.
Well, that theory's out there. If
No, but
based on you guys, yeah,
listen,
that theory's out.
I reckon we're all anomalies, because I see where you're coming from in it. Like, people always, like, I feel like when people, I'm just gonna give another thing, but like, when people talk about their exes, regardless of how the relationship went, they will always talk about, if it ended badly, they will always talk about the bad ending rather than the good times that they had.
I guess
You know
maybe
what I'm saying?
that's related to the fact that it doesn't matter that all the, like it's kind of like
Like, if
weighing
they
up all the
had a
good,
bad,
and then
yeah,
yeah,
if they had a bad ending that lasted a month, but had like an 18-month good relationship, you know what I'm
that
saying?
bad ending will still
That bad ending
trump
would
it.
leave, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
bad ending will be the thing that they constantly talk about, do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I do see what you're saying there. Like, it's like the bad definitely sticks out in our minds as humans, just like, that's just our nature for, I guess, survival instinct. So that's what I probably
Yeah,
think
it's
it
something to tell you
boils
to
down
like
to.
don't do that again, innit?
Yeah.
But
I
I feel
think-
like you can train yourself to be like ignoring like especially when it comes to relationships, you shouldn't really focus on all of the negatives. You should
For sure, yeah,
take
yeah.
like you take everything from as a whole and learn from it, learn where you went wrong and grow from it, so you don't make that mistake in the next relationship and be better for it, you know.
I don't think that's just a relationship. I mean, yeah, I'm guessing you meant relationships as in friendships and just
Relationships, life,
yeah,
anything.
your life. Yeah.
When you interact with people, you've got to learn, like, some people won't reciprocate your energy, or some people don't want your energy. You got to move on with that. That's life. You can't wallow in the past and be upset about it. Just move on.
I mean, on a level, like realistically, and at that point, you need to decide whether or not you want to keep putting in the energy and getting back what you're getting.
No, you don't put in the energy. You
Well,
just
no, it's up to you. Like I'm saying, if it's a
honestly, I
friendship that
believe that
you,
you just let it lay and just let them come when they want to come. That's it. Just you don't say I'm here. You just say I'm here for you, and that's it. Let them go. When they want to be there for you, they're gonna be there for you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
You
it's a
can't
case
run
by
and
case
save
thing
them.
where people decide for themselves what they want to do, really. And yeah, I agree with you. I think there's we, and I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of like friendships and relationships fail, and I think this could kind of tie back into the whole social media aspect of it, is I think social media is a very controlled environment, right? You people will only really post stuff that they want to, right? So, and I don't think people in general want to post, oh yeah, my life is shit, right? So, like for example, Instagram, they'll I know someone that will take 1,000 pictures on a holiday and then slowly drip feed it to the IG feed, kind of like, and then give out the kind of vibe that they're a jet
Yeah,
setter.
you can't give all your sauce at once, man. You know what I'm saying? You
Wow,
gotta
Right.
leave.
I'm gonna put him on blast right now.
I wasn't even talking about Gurdev. He doesn't post to
No, no,
Instagram.
I agree with you,
I was
Uncle.
talking about someone completely different. He knows who he is. Anyway, and I think that's the thing, is that when people look at that, they'll start reflecting on their own life and saying, and then constantly focusing on what isn't, you know. And when you're constantly focusing on what if, you forget to kind of acknowledge what is. And what is can sometimes be a really cool thing.
But I think to kind of
I ain't
put
gonna
the
don't try fucking private message me and asking me who is it. I'm not gonna tell you. No, I said he knows who it is, as in the person.
Oh, I thought you meant as in
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Sneaky one. All right.
No, I thought you was trying to say I know who.
Fair
Okay.
enough. Fair enough. I see the confusion.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say to the other side of that argument though is like kind of I don't know, if you've got a really good, or if at one point in time you had a good friendship or a good relationship with someone and they're throwing it away because I don't know, they can't see past their own ego or something, do you not think that friendship or relationship is worth kind of fighting for?
I feel like that's a good introspection, and that's the show, folks. Like, wow. I mean,
Like for example, like when me and you first met, it was only what, a year and 2 or 3 months ago, yeah. And like, well, I don't know about you, but I feel like as friends, we have like a good understanding, a good relationship of each other and stuff. And I don't know, if some silly thing got in the way, I would want things to kind of reconcile, because I know that, you know, we have like a good friendship. Whereas I feel like people who are just like, oh, I need to let people go and stuff, it's kind of like, well, you know, okay, if
I
you
feel
fight for
like,
so long,
yeah,
then
no,
yeah, maybe. But I feel like that you can't always have such a kind of is what's the word? You can't have such a um, you know what I'm saying? You can't be so kind of
sensitivity.
no lack of sensitivity, or just be like so blasé with the thing. Like whatever happens, happens. Like sometimes you need to have that kind of
Oh, you can't
proactive.
be so detached in that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Sometimes you
Right.
need that proactive step to be like, no, I'm gonna fight for this friendship, and like, if things reconcile, then yeah, but like I still need to kind of, you know, roll the dice and see what comes of it, innit? Because I feel like if you just be like, oh, I gotta let that person go, you don't know where things will be if you fight for them.
No,
no,
no, for
I
sure.
understand. I understand what you're saying. I feel like, if anything, if you feel like you both have done something to harm your friendship, you should at least give it your like, and it's going to like, you feel like it's going to end. I feel like you should at least try to reconcile. At least say like, I am sorry for what I've done. This, that, and the other. Blah blah blah. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Can you forgive me? And if they say yes, if they say no, it's what it is. You walk away. That's a friendship done. It's upsetting that it's gone, but maybe they will take their time and actually they'll take your apology and eventually they'll come back to you. It is what it is. You can't make people, you can't force yourself on people. You can't force what you want.
I'm not saying forcing people. I'm just saying kind of like.
No, I get what Gurdev's saying. Gurdev's like saying, let's say when the fight initially happens and you just turn like, fuck this guy, and then you just kind of never speak to that person ever again.
Yeah, I'm talking about making that kind of
that initial step to kind of reconcile.
You know, to like kind of just be the kind of person to, you know, say, listen, look, I know.
Oh, so wait, did this person do you dirty, or he's just done something dirty and you're just like, no, I can't deal with this?
Okay, let's say that you've done them dirty.
Yeah.
And obviously they're in the right, you're in the wrong.
Yeah, I feel like a decent person would apologize, right?
I'm not a piece of shit.
I'm not saying that you didn't apologize. I'm saying that you did apologize, and they're still like, nah. You're still a waste man. Nah.
Then leave that. That's
yeah. I mean that at that point,
you're. I've apologized. What do you want? Do you want blood?
Nah, but like. I don't know. Say no, but say if they're like kind of holding a grudge in it, like
you can't help what people hold.
I feel like that's kind of like it's that's what the grudge is, right? It's swallowing poison and expecting the other man to die. Right?
It's like, what do you want me to do? You're holding your breath. I've said sorry. Now breathe.
No, I hear you, but like. I feel like sometimes people kind of they're still in that pain and like, you know.
I mean, if that depends.
In most situations, when like a disagreement or like you do someone dirty situation happens, like it's you're apologizing within the time frame of them still feeling pain. Do you know what I'm saying? Of them still feeling that emotion of you did me dirty. So like kind of them kind of reacting in a way of cutting the friendship off or cutting the relationship off is kind of still an act within that pain. Whereas if they maybe look at it objectively, like we was talking about earlier, the positive and negative, being like, oh yes, this person did me dirty, but we have this history of a friendship and a strong rapport with each other. Am I really going to throw all that away because they're human and they made this mistake? Yes, they did me dirty, but they still was like, obviously there's variables like how sincere was the apology and stuff. Let's just say the apology was mad sincere and meant every word, and they did an action to even prove the sincerity of their apology. Yeah, like, you know, are you going to throw all that friendship away for that one action, for that one mistake? Like, I feel like that kind of threshold.
I feel like this is a rhetorical question for for the viewers to listen to and answer for themselves. Like, I feel like it's a question like, for everybody, you know.
Yeah, because like, I'm just asking you guys, like, is that kind of one mistake or one, like, fair enough if it's happened, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Do you know what I'm saying? Over a year's period, because then it's inexcusable. But like, even then, that's a nuanced thing, because it could be like they're kind of trying to get out of a certain, you know, mindset, and it's not going to take an overnight process to do that.
I mean, at that point, you as a person need to understand that if you've wronged someone, chances are you did an action that then wronged them. And now you're expecting words to rectify your actions. Right. And don't get twisted. I do understand that words can be sincere and they can convey action and they can convey feelings and emotions, and they can change the way someone feels about a certain thing. But ultimately, you don't have control over that. Once you've apologized, and if you've apologized to the best of your ability, you just got to have faith that whatever's going to happen is now meant to happen.
It's in their hands now. The ball is literally in their court.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. But I just think it's like kind of. I think sometimes it's a little bit short-sighted when people do that. Like they kind of cut someone out of their life because they've made like 2 or 3 mistakes or 1 or 2 mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's like I feel like kind of like you were saying earlier. Like I feel like in this instant, people kind of outweigh the bad. I mean, you know, give the bad so much weight when in reality the good has so much more weight, and they kind of minimize that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, we're talking about emotional things, right? And I don't
Yeah.
think I feel like it's wrong to expect people to react rationally
Like objectively,
inside these.
for sure.
Exactly right, and it's very much a case by case thing, right? Like it's, I don't know. Like, would I get pissed off at you if you scratch my car? For sure. Would I end the friendship? Probably not. You know. But like you said, if you did it 9 times in 1 year, I'm probably gonna stop bringing my car around you. That's
Yeah, I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
you
I
know.
mean,
But
like that's what I'm saying. Like, but would you end our friendship? You know, you're probably just saying you're driving next time.
yeah, I would never let my friend be behind the wheel of my car, man.
No, no, say like I'm driving my car is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I think this is the thing. Like, it's such a. This is the thing that we have friends, but friendship is such, like, to me, it's such an abstract term. Like, you know, like we were just struggling here just to define what a friendship is. Like, is it like, because I don't know, like Saib, I met you yesterday, and yeah, again, I don't know how you feel, but I'll call you a friend. But then I've known Reese the longest out of all of us here, and he's a friend, right? And there's no levels.
I didn't know there was a leaderboard.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There isn't that's what I'm saying, right? There doesn't need to be one. And I feel like we live our lives by kind of everything else in our life has that kind of leaderboard kind of feel to it. But then this abstract thing that we engage in doesn't.
All right. Here's a question: do you have best friends
Is this for the group or just me?
in general? Like, do you guys agree with like no leaderboards then?
I've never given it thought to define a best
What's
friend
that
or
best
best
friend?
friends. Yeah, I have no clue how you identify a best friend. I mean, for context, some people can. I know my sister has best friends, but I myself, I never given thought to that.
I think that, yeah, it's subjective as well in a way, because of this, you mentioned acquaintances. It depends how we all define it. For some, if we go into like best friends, acquaintances, yeah, then maybe I could categorize all of my friends into those sections. It just depends how you define it, right? Like, you know, I call someone a friend, but to this that might be just an acquaintance. But I give them the label of a friend, and Abdesh might actually think only what I see as best friends is your definition of a friend. So it's semantics, isn't it? It's just labels that we give ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I'm with them that I think Reese put it really well as well. Like, how do you define what a best friend is? Like, I have friends that I talk to on the regular, and I have friends I haven't spoken to in months. But there's no difference. There's no leaderboards, right? If I see any one of them on the street, I'm gonna react the same way. Like, you fucking dickhead, you've been avoiding me. No, I'm joking. But it's I don't know. Like, and I think that's, and I feel like maybe that's why some people have so much drama, is that they do feel as though that, oh, you're my best friend, you need to do this, right?
And what makes a best? Sorry, no, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say that comes from experience. Someone's actually said that to me. As one of my best friends, you should be liking all my pictures on Instagram. I'm like, I don't even use Instagram like that.
You're insane.
What the hell?
Insane.
Sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say what makes a best friend. Like, some, I've thought about that. Is a best friend someone that you share everything with, and where you basically are willing to put yourself into a vulnerable spot? Because is that basically a best friend? So I will share secrets or whatever it may be, and actually expose my weaknesses in front of that person and make myself vulnerable, is that then a best friend? Because if you look at it like that, I don't know, obviously, if any of you guys, how old you are, and if you're married or whatever, but like I'm married, for example, my concept of friendship has drastically changed since I've been married, for example. So, you know, things that when I was 18, 20, uni, coming out, even up until basically I got married, yeah, you have friends, you know, everyone's thinking of friendship is different. We were sharing each other stuff with, puts us into vulnerable positions. Now that I'm married, I would my dynamics have totally changed, whereas I would only have those conversations with my wife now, if that makes sense. Like,
Does your wife become your best friend?
exactly. So and that's the one person where I'm, you know, as much as, yeah, my friends, I probably could, but the reality is you shouldn't, because at the end of the day, people do look out for themselves. It's just human nature. And you create a bond with a person, let's say if it's your wife or your partner or whatever, that's the person that you, on a spiritual level, you bond and you basically are one kind of thing. So then you don't mind if, you know, I know their weakness, they know my weakness, we're a best friend unit. That changes. You don't have that with the outside world at some stage.
For sure. I mean, I think you're probably right in that. I feel like me, I'm in a relationship. My best friend is my partner, and then there's no leaderboards. I think that's probably the truest rendition of what friendship would be. And I feel like, yeah.
Now I'm not gonna lie, the way you guys have described your relationship, it sounds so nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out, dude. Like, like she's my best friend. I don't care what happens, dude. That is amazing.
Yeah. But I think one way to but one way to kind of maybe define that is that, like, I'll ask both of you if there's kind of a kind of discrepancy within your relationship with your partners, like, who in your mind do you think of, I go to that person first to, like, kind of maybe sort to for advice on that? Like, is there a person in your head where you think that's the first person I'm going to go to?
Yeah. Like, who do you go to, like, when you two have a falling out?
I don't actually go to anyone. I actually do the opposite. I become kind of recluse and just not talk about it.
I don't think that's healthy, dude.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, it's not.
That's kind of toxic.
Because, like, suppressing it is not good.
I don't know. It's not suppressing. It's more just dealing with it in the way that I know how.
But do you go back to your partner and then, like,
yeah, like I'll talk to her
yeah,
about it rather than someone else.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes you can reach an impasse where it's like,
I can't even, like,
you're talking about it in every which way, but
God forbid it's happened, but you know.
Yeah, for sure, touch wood and all of that. Yeah. But so there's no person in. What about you, Saib? Is there anyone that you turn to?
Yeah,
he's looking into the camera like, damn, who am I thinking?
Yeah, no, because there isn't, to be honest, and yeah, I don't really have that at all. So the way, for me, I don't want to take it too spiritual, but for me, it's that all that sort of stuff comes down.
Spiritual.
For me, that stuff comes down to ego. So if I do have a disagreement with my missus, you know,
you look to
it tells me that one of us, we're just coming from a place of ego where, you know, it's all something that can be discussed, and you know,
hash this out.
And we do. Like, I have a rule where I don't, if we have a falling out, which is natural, that's just human nature. If anyone has a falling out, you basically you don't let a day pass, you deal with it there and then. And then my spirituality comes in again, just for the fact that I believe you could be dead any day, any minute.
Bro,
so,
your wife is lucky. Yo.
So it's just like, you know, and then that reduces your ego. We will talk, and we've had these discussions where we're like, look, is this worth it? Because the fact is, any of us could die any minute. Death is
When I get married, yo, I'm taking.
I think Saab just kind of just solved relationships there. I think
Then
that's
and there.
no, for real.
it's just things like that. That's why I feel like spirituality is so important, and that's something I had this chat with a bitch, and this is probably off topic now, but
No, go for it, man.
obviously when we were talking about, I was a hardcore socialist, Marxist for a long time, but the spiritual elements were, but the spiritual elements weren't there for me, and I've basically have gone very much down the Sikhi route, in finding spirituality for myself, and those are the types of things that have really helped. I think about death every day. Like it's a fact. I'll be honest. I wake up, I think about and this is not morbid. I'm not depressed. Like I don't want to make it sound like, oh man, like I'm going through some shit. I'm not. I'm a very happy person, but I think about it. I had this discussion with my family today and my wife. We went for a walk, and I said I have thoughts every day. My parents, I imagine them being gone every single day. My grandma, my wife. I imagine everyone being dead. Basically, what would happen? How would I feel? How would I deal with it? Because for me, those are the things, the reminders that keep me grounded in ego. With not fighting with anyone. What's the point? Those people could be gone.
Limited.
Exactly,
sure,
the
man.
time is limited.
I 100% agree with that, man. Like
100%.
I think that there you've basically given yourself the key to challenge yourself, essentially. Whenever you feel as though you are right, you kind of acknowledge that's my ego again, right? I am right. Right? It's not about what is right. It's just I feel as though I have been slighted. And therefore the language that we use when we talk about these things with other people, for example, I feel as though people will always say I. And when you challenge your own ego, you challenge the concept of I, and it no longer becomes about me anymore.
And you could relate that to friendship. If I was to try to sort of link that up with the topic of friendship, you can link it to it in the sense that everyone, and that's why I kind of like I was saying earlier, like even if people are totally on a different wavelength to me, I could still consider them a friend, because there is, at the end of the day, we're here by ourselves and we're going to go by ourselves. Everyone is just a moment on this journey. So everyone, all of you guys on this call are a moment for me right now. So you're all friends. We're all friends on this journey of life in a way, whether we like each other, whether we don't like each other. So everyone is a friend in a sense. There is no best friend. So it's the same thing. You could link it to friendship in a way as well. Same principle.
No, for sure. I mean, and then I think if you want to ground it again into spirituality within Sikhi, there's this concept of oneness, right? Everything is one, everything is connected. And a lot of faiths have that same concept. It's not one that is unique at all. But when you're aware of that, then you're kind of aware that your actions, whatever I do to that person there, I'm doing to myself. And I feel like that also kind of triggers a sort of mindset to kind of be kind to each other. More than anything, just be kind.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that is a deep thought as well, man. Yeah, no, like the whole how to deal with like relationships and like for example, Gurdev, this kind of answers your point. You need to challenge with your question about what to do with the friendship that kind of starts breaking down. Challenge your ego, and if once you've done that, you still feel as though this is toxic, then you have your answer, right?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't quite.
We were talking about friendships breaking down, relationships breaking down, and stuff.
Yeah.
If you have done that step of challenging yourself, challenging your ego, putting yourself in the other person's shoe, doing all that introspection, and then that situation is still seen as toxic to you, then you have your answer, right? And then at that point, is it worth putting more of your energy into it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, you can, if you forgive that person, you are like kind of putting yourself at risk for them to be, putting you back in that position of being hurt again. So I guess you're right. I mean, but like, it's just that risk factor in it, that if people want to take that risk or not, and if it's worth it. But like Saib said, like that kind of, I mean, that death aspect is where my thinking kind of stems from in a kind of big long tangent kind of way, because it's like if you're on your deathbed thinking about, I mean, like if and when you're on your deathbed and you think, and God forbid you're on your deathbed having regret, but like if you're on your deathbed thinking about, oh, what memories I could have had with that person going off what we had before that, it's kind of like, you wouldn't want that, do you know what I'm saying, in the first place. So try like go on that endeavor of kind of prevent that from happening, of having that regret, of that space for them memories to be had, you know what I'm saying. So that's where kind of my thinking was coming from, of like fighting for that friendship, because you don't want to go through life thinking, oh, what could have been in it, because there's that, like, I don't know, like, for example, someone who'd missed out on investing in, I don't know, 10 bitcoins 6-7 years ago is probably kicking themselves now, who passed it up, because they're
100%.
like what could have been if I took that investment, you know what I'm saying. So that's where I was coming from earlier, with that kind of devil's advocate of letting certain friendships go.
Right. Okay. So here's a question that I found a really good way to link it in. Do you tell your friends that you love them?
No.
No, I don't think I have.
I definitely have.
You have.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean,
I say no, but I know probably one of my friends are going to say, you said it before. 100%, 110%. I can hear it now.
I mean, I didn't want to bait you up, but sure. Yeah, you have.
You know what? Actually, saying that probably on a drunken night out, yeah, man, I love you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like probably in that sense, yes. But if you're asking me, and this might sound a bit mean, but if I said it and I meant it, no.
That drunken moment is always one of my favorites. Of like watching drunk people. Like, oh,
Man, you're graded.
I love this man. Oh, do you know his name? Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. He's the beanie man.
Now, you know what's funny? So I went from that guy who's talking about all this lovely, like, philosophical way of life, and he's like, nah. And then he goes to, I don't tell my friends.
I don't tell.
The question is, do you need to? Right?
I think it's not about need to, though. It's like, do you need to tell any of your family members that you love them? Do you need to tell anyone that you love them? Do you know what I'm saying?
And the reason why I said that, just to explain it, sorry, it's just I have to set the record straight. Again, it's what does we'd have to define. I'd have to understand, what does love mean for each and every one of you, because for me, love is a big thing, and the fact is, I cannot give that to all my friends. It's just that simple. I don't give that, what I see as love, I don't give that to my friends. So I'd be lying by saying, oh, I love you, man, because what I see is the definition of love in my mind, that is a high standard. So it'd be disingenuous of me to say that, yeah, I would give what I feel it is to me. But to someone else, like I said, to someone else, that definition will be totally different to mine. So when they say I love you to a friend, that could be totally maybe within my contemplation. I'd be like, yeah, you know what, I actually agree. The way you're describing love for you, yeah, I could say then, yeah, I love someone. Fair enough. But yeah.
No, you're definitely right. Like, love is it's like seen differently to different people differently, and it's so like, like you said, you hold love in a very high standard, whereas other people might be like, no, we need more love in the world in general, so why not be so abundant with it? Do you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, like, there's people have a lot of different definitions of what love is, and whether that love is for a friend, a family member, or your partner in it. So I think that's very true. And like you said, like, I think people have that misinterpretation of love as like kind of a two-way thing, and I think that's where people get things a bit muddled up. Yeah, love is. I think. Well, I don't think I want to give my definition on love on the friendship topic. So maybe I'll save that for another one.
For sure. I mean, love could be its entire topic on its own because again, I think there are levels to that. Like, as the same way that there's no leaderboards in friendship, there's probably a leaderboard in love, right? Like, I don't know. We say, oh, I love Krispy Kreme, you know? It's not love the way you love your wife, right? I love my parents, but do I love my dog the same way I love my parents, kind of thing? Or do I love my cousin the same way I love my brother? And I think that that's the issue with the English language, and that's the issue with just language in general, is that trying to communicate feelings through words is I feel like it takes a very specific skill, a very specific hold on language that a lot of people don't really have, because I think a lot of people, myself included, and I think the vast majority of us, don't really know how, probably don't even understand fully how we feel. When you're feeling, it is just experience. How can you do you comprehend what you feel at all times? I don't think that's.
I don't think it's the kind of understanding how we ourselves feel. I think it's conveying that to other people. I think that's where the kind of difficulty comes into play, because I think if we think about how we feel to ourselves, I think that's quite easy for ourselves. Well, speaking from my own point of view, I think a lot of people might feel how you're saying, what you're talking about. But for me, I definitely understand how I feel emotionally towards a lot of people, well, most of the people in my life. But I think when it comes to conveying that to someone, that's where the confusion comes in.
Reese?
Yeah, I feel like we covered just about everything. I mean, in summarization, it's all very abstract, and I don't think you'll get no set answer from any different person in the world, to be honest. But it's an interesting topic to discuss as well, simply because those different definitions lead to different perspectives, which is always interesting.
For sure, and I think it leads to different experiences as well.
Absolutely, yeah,
Right.
and just a way to kind of think and self-reflect as well on your own definitions of certain things that can be described and defined in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing we kind of didn't really talk about, and I know this might sound really kind of cheesy or cringy or whatever, but I think one thing that kind of projects into every single relationship or friendship in life is the friendship that you have with yourself. Like, I think, having an understanding of yourself and who you are and stuff kind of translate into the friendship you have with anyone, like whether it's your friendship with your family member or a stranger on the street. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you can be kind of harsh and judgmental on yourself, which will kind of be how you treat the rest of the world. So I think considering the friendship and relationship you have with yourself is a good kind of starting point to contemplate how all your other friendship and relationships are in life.
I think that's a sick point, to be fair.
Yeah, if you don't value yourself, how can you value something in others?
Or you put too much value in other people because you don't value yourself, and then that might lead to more pain that you put yourself through.
Yeah, and if you're not true to yourself, you're not going to be true to anyone else, and that you do get into that cycle where you become a pleaser, because you think,
for sure.
I want to please my friends because if I am like this, they will like me. So you're not true to yourself. So it is important to be true to yourself.
I mean, it was funny. One of my friends once accused me of being that guy, the people pleaser. And he challenged me. He says, "Name me someone that you don't like," and I struggled. And the reason I struggled is because I don't keep those people around, right? I don't interact with those. So if I'm giving you my energy, my time, to the point where now you think that in a friendship setting I'm now talking to everyone, I'm engaging with everyone, I'm now pleasing everyone, that's just because I like you. If it it's actually funny because I don't know, you guys have all seen a certain side of me. Probably the side that doesn't shut up, is never quiet, is never on the side, right? But if I am in a completely different situation with some friends from one of my secondary schools, they do see a different side of me where I am quiet. And that's probably not because I don't like anyone, it's just because that's just not me. That space is not for me. I don't fit well in that space. So I kind of reclude myself. And I think, yeah, you have to be true to yourself, because if you don't, it's kind of like how Saib said that I can't give that love to everyone. It's the same with energy. I can't give that energy to everyone. That same energy that I give certain people. Consider yourselves privileged, because it doesn't go, it doesn't happen for everyone.